Hey, this is Jenna, and this is my game environment scene in Unreal for the SciFi project. For this project, I created 3 new pieces. There's my station map right here. There's the utility cabinet right here. There's the prop that we got to choose, which is I made like a all-knowing book with an eye in it. There is I also created these ceiling pieces, and there's also this back piece that goes covered this hole behind the door frame. So in Maya, let's start with So we can start with, let's see, it's my book. So this is the model I created. Basically, eyelid, iris, and the book. My UV map is as such. I think all of this is set to about 12, I think. Yeah. All these are set to about 12. And my utility cabinet, I added sort of like a couple shelves. There's this lip, where the, I guess, kind of door would close in. And I have a door handle and a handle escutcheon for that right there. And this is my UV map for it. I think this was close to 6 or something. No, 2, that's right, about 3. All these close to 3 textile density. My station map. For this actually, all these, each of these has its own specific texture. The center of this has its own texture. Station map material. But I also, for the edge of this, I added I used the panel 4 to create this sort of effect. So it's all lined up, kind of like these little bolt holes, I guess you would call them. And so this is how it kind of turns out. I noticed that this texture has these holes that sort of go along the edges or the center. And I lined up my each of these UV shells to correspond with these, and this right here is the actual map piece. All of these were, yeah, almost 7 for textile density, so that turned out okay. For my ceilings, let's see. I had, this is what I have. So it has, there's 2 different textures. There's the, I guess, trim sheet material that lines up with this sort of black mesh texture right there, and then and then the panel, I think it's one of the panels materials that lines up along these. I also, these edge pieces, I line them up so they correspond with each other, and I set each one of these so there's these little bolts that show up on each of these. So you can kind of see that right here. So all these line up together and look great. And anything else? Oh yeah, and then just this back panel behind the door frame. This all has this for the trim sheet, one of the trim sheets. I use this texture right here, so I broke up the UV shells and broke it up into several UV shells so they all fit right there. All of the pieces that are actually part of the scene all have the same textile density. So like this 10.24. All of this is 10.24. So, for example, this 10.24, and everything lined up. Have everything sort of lining up together so it makes sense. And back in Unreal. So I have my materials, textures, and models. I'll start with my textures. So all these provided textures that we have, the metals, panels, and the trim sheet materials, I brought them all into Substance Painter and used the trim sheet FBX that was provided to have all these exported out specifically for Unreal. Once I did that, all of my textures here, well, for the occlusion roughness metallics, once I brought them in, made sure that the S RGBs are all turned off, and then I set them up with my materials. So my utility cabinet has one specific material, my station map has one material, my scanner has one material, the scanner actually has a emissive with it, and my book has one material. So for the book, brought this in and lined this up, or connected all this together so that it will fit with my book and look great. I made a light. This was actually for my my scene lights. Set up the base color and emissive color. That's what these are right here. Actual lights. The metal 101. Metal 2. Metal 3. Panel 1. It's panel 2. Panel 3. And panel 4. This is my scanner material with the emissive as well. My station mat material. Trim sheet 1. And trim sheet 2. And my utility cabinet. And my models. Here's my book. So some old leather wear, like a skin material, really aged skin material, weathered pages, and the one material attached. This is that backdoor panel piece that has one material, one of the trim sheets. This is my support beam. This has 2 materials, one for the actual arch support beam and then one for the footing. Each of the footings. And my ceiling, this has 2 textures, one for these panel pieces and then one for these trim sheet and panels. My door and its materials. Door frame, and this only has one material. It's my floor, its materials. This one, the material is supposed to be translucent or transparent on this part. I'm not exactly sure how to set that up. Still need to look into that, but that's why there's this panel underneath to block visibility through the transparent part. My light. This uses one of the trim sheet materials and that emissive. My scanner, and it's one material. My station mat and the 2 materials, one for the center and then along this edge right here. Sort of line up a little bit. I wasn't exactly sure why this looks really glowy. I could not figure that out. My utility cabinet. Dusty. I put this stencil right here. All these. There's my handle, paint patches, scratches. And it's one material. And my wall piece. And it's 3 materials. So it's got one of the materials is kind of hidden back there. It's not as easily seen, but it's one of the panels. And yep. So that's it. think I've covered everything. And I think it came out looking pretty good. Thanks for watching.